Oh, yeah. Hi, Mike.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well today. I'm doing really well. How are you?
Good. I'm sitting on gas here, on fire with life, enjoying life, understanding that we're a lot more than what we see. So there's a lot more we can do to create our own reality. So yes, I'm in a good place.
Excellent, excellent. I like the idea you say you're sitting on sitting on gas. That's an interesting way of looking at life. But I like the idea about energy. And I suppose for
Yeah.
us as humans, our energy, a lot of our energy comes from food. It comes from the sun and it comes from our emotions, but also from our food. And that's a subject that's very close to my heart, talking about food types of food, what is our natural food, what we should be eating, processed
Yeah.
food, alkaline acid foods, what's best for our health. I think it's a really important subject and something that um, we need to relearn. Basically, we need to relearn what is good for us. And I think we've been told
Yes.
so much about our diets and not fully understanding why our diets can be harmful and why we are what we eat in essence, and that our diet can have a big factor in our health and our well-being. So I would love to start just by talking about what is food.
Yes. So food that sustain life, food that our ancestors used to eat, and not what we're eating right now, because what is presented as food now is what we call non-food. And these non-food are causing lots of degenerative illnesses across the planet. And we need to show discernment and deeper understanding of what we're putting in our mouth and how it's affecting different organs, different systems in the body, and how we're processing it. And these so-called non-food are having collateral damages uh, on the human body over a period of time. So we've got to gravitate back to how our ancestors used to eat, or go back, look at the longest living people on the planet in the blue zone area, and look at their type of eating plan for us to have sustainability and good vitality and good health. Because well, look at it. If people say, "Well, is it a big deal?" Yes, it is a big deal when you look at the facts. Let's look at some facts now. 85% of human in Western society are on some sort of medication. So that obviously is an indicator that something's broken.
Definitely, definitely. And I think, yeah, we are definitely, there's a lot of food-like substances which are amazing for our taste, the stimulation from that, the salt, sugars, the fats. It gives us a nice buzz. It sets off those kind of cocaine kind of receptors in our mind. So we're there having these beautiful tasting foods, but clearly it's not good for us. A lot of those foods are designed to stimulate us with the color and the scent, but it's so processed that it's causing us a lot of harm. And it
Yes,
sounds like it's by design.
absolutely. I categorically agree with you unequivocally. It's all by design. Let's not even um, just say it as it is. It is how what's happening in today's present society. The truth now is a storm of truth coming out now, and a storm of truth tells us that our food has been manipulated, being played with by scientists, experimentation, and these are having serious ramifications on our health in many which way. We've got to come to that self-realization that the food that we're eating now is um, causing um, acid in the body. And when we get into this acid state, based on what we call these food scientists, that's what they are. They're called food scientists, and their job is to do food testing and see that what food, how it reacts, how it tastes, how it looks, and then subsequently, if it has that sort of if it's that aroma smells nice, if the taste tastes good, it's very moorish. They say yes, we like that, and so subsequently we will take that, driven by profits. These food are then packaged up non-food, package up, and then sold to us as food. And subsequently, I'm in the middle of doing an experiment at the moment. Somebody is giving me some donuts. They give me some donuts, Sophia. And there's something intuitively told me not to eat the donut. Mike, don't eat the donut. It was some sort of celebration. And she went away and that donut's nice. Something said, keep these 5 donuts. So I've kept these donuts. And since January, they still smell perfect. I've left them out in the open. No mold's gone on them. No flies been around them. It's just sitting there in its own essence. I said, wow, this is going to be a fascinating journey to see how these donuts get on in the next few months, maybe years.
I remember you doing a similar experiment with Ritz biscuits.
Yes, you remember?
Yes, I do remember. I do remember. And you brought them out, they look perfect. Absolutely
yes.
perfect. And you had them for years, didn't you? They were your mum's, so you had them for years.
Yes, you remember. Oh, yes, the Ritz biscuits. They were there for years and they look perfect, didn't they? Yeah. So if you think, good food, organic grown food has a sell-by date. You'll see it start to mold, flies,
and that's natural.
And creatures. Yeah, but these non-food, they don't perish. They don't have molds. They don't have flies. They just have this what they call long shelf life.
Yes.
And there's a brilliant book by Paul Stick called "Beating the Food Giant." Beating the Food Giant by Paul Stick, and he talks about this, how food has been seriously being manipulated over the years, and subsequently it's having a lot of calamity, from arthritis to IBS to allergies to constipation to skin issues to pick the illness. It now reads like an encyclopedia of illness, and a common denominator is food.
Yes.
And if people cannot relate that to the food and drink they're drinking, they're sort of missing the mark. And this is why we must step up to plate and start taking full responsibility in regards to the food and drinks that we're taking in.
I think it's very true. It's Dr. Mike McGregor, I think he said, of the 15 top killers in America, 14 of them could be eradicated or greatly improved just on diet. And the only one that can't is accidental death, and I think that's very, very scary, really, that we are slowly eating ourselves into uncomfortable deaths sometimes, because I think, as you said, a lot of us are on a lot of medication. And if people are on medication, that's because there's something going on. That could have started with that poor diet that you had 10, 15, 20 years ago, comes back to bite us, the increase of diabetes, high blood pressure. As you said, these are things that could be eradicated, could be improved just by making a change to our diet. And I think a key thing for me is with processed foods, to make them hit those points and hit those trigger quickly. A lot of time they take the fiber out of food. And I think fiber is just so important for human beings. And could you talk a bit about how important having food with fiber is?
Well, I mean, look, we'll talk about transit time, and transit time, we're talking about 18 to 24 hours when you should be having, good passage. And if you're not having that 18 to 24 hours of natural defecating of food, you're not getting rid of food and you're sort of constipating, you're not incubating now illness. And subsequently, when you are eating fibrous food, good vegetables, raw food, fruits, salads, and just an organic base, you're going to have this natural cleansing. Because, as you know, fiber acts like a brush. It's brushing those mucus within the body and taking it out through the colon. So fiber is imperative. And I remember doing some research on this years ago, and they were looking at the African diets compared to European diets. And when they look at the fecal matter, we're talking in Africa, 16 to 18 inches. You know, these
Inside.
guys are having,
Okay.
yeah. And in the West,
Good
we're looking at
release.
6 to 8 inches. So you say, well, what's happened here? Well, it's once again, it's about the fiber. And if it's taken out the diet, and we then, what I do get my clients to look at is the Bristol stool chart. If you want to see how healthy you are, go on to the website called the Bristol stool chart.
Okay.
And when you go to a toilet, look at your stool measurements, look at the color, look at the size, look at the texture, and then do a comparison on the Bristol stool chart, and you can see what type of problems you got.
Yeah.
You know, if you got food in your stool, it shows you that you're not getting enough the right nutrients into your body. You might be showing fats. You might be showing, you know, all sorts can be told. You might have leaky gut based on just stool analysis. Parasites, such a big story. So eating fiber is really critical in everyday diet.
Definitely, definitely. And a lot of people eat meat, fish, and dairy, and there's no fiber in there, which shows that those foods are not natural to our diet, really, because
yeah, and the thing is, we got a whole different school of thought here, from veganism to vegetarian, you know, those who are carnivores, and you know what, everybody's putting a hat in the ring and say it this way, and my approach is this: look, everybody oxidize food very differently. It's called oxidization. So you've got people who are fast oxidizers, slow oxidizers, and mixed oxidizers based on food intake. So let's say, keep it nice and simple. You get one meal. You get a meal, you put it in front of 3 people. One person said, it's too much. Another person is too little. And the other one said, just right. And that's just one food. So we need to understand that we have what we call metabolic typing. Metabolic typing. So we all oxidize food differently. So food is individualized. It's not a one size takes all. Then we got to look at eating seasonal food, which is important. And also on top of that, then we look at detoxification because of all what's going on with the food. All right. So that's my take on some of the major concepts in regarding food, instead of blanket everybody should do this. So to some extent, yes, but also that individualism that comes forward as well, the oxidation.
Definitely, yeah, I can relate with that, because different cultures are different stomach acids types. Some cultures can break down, for example, some cultures can break down milk a lot better. Some cultures can't break down milk.
Absolutely.
All our bodies are very different. So we need to learn to listen to our bodies, and our bodies are giving us signs. Do you know what I mean? So I know that a lot of people who have like a lot of acne, so instead of putting creams on to hide your acne, it means that you're not getting enough fiber, and your body's trying to detox, and it's detoxing by your skin as opposed to coming from your bowels. So it's about sometimes learning what's right for us and taking that time to learn what's right for us. I definitely appreciate that. But I also think
what
that
I wanted to say, Sophia, what I wanted to say, just to prove the point about it's not a one size fits all, try to go to an Eskimo and say, go vegan. You know, you can't see someone, I need blubber to keep warm here. You know, where's the vegetable? So it's indigenous. I learned a lot of this from Dr. Weston Price and his research about all the different cultures around the world. And I learned this from one of my favorite books, was called Nourishing Tradition, looking at all the different cultures and how they used to cook around the world before we came into this industrialization of food at the moment. And that's what we're dealing with at the moment, industrialized food. It's on this process. So we're now in the epicenter of where food is being just so
manipulated.
Just avalanche of just so many chemicals in there that it's imperative that we do start growing food now, sourcing food at its organic state, so we can actually replenish the cells, the 50 million cells that are screaming out, give me some nutrient here. You know,
I
because
hear that.
there's two illnesses I say to people, major illnesses that we're suffering from:
Mm.
toxicity and deficiency. These are the two horsemen, I call them, that are causing the ramping up of human demise and illness and sickness and disease at the moment. And this is why we must ascend to and go get uncomfortable to find the food that will help us to vibrate
Yeah.
and to give us the vitality and energy we need.
I definitely hear that. But I also think that our bodies are designed to survive and will make sacrifices in order to survive.
Yeah.
So right now, our bodies are very much in survival mode, where it's not thriving but surviving. So because it is, as you said, we're hungry for food and eating and excessively eating while we're starving for nutrition, because the nutrition is not inside our food. So we are doing the two. So yes, our bodies are designed to survive, and we can survive on this non-food where some people are surviving on it, but it's not the best for your body. Do you know what I mean? And so I suppose what you were saying is let's try and get back to food which is more inclined for us. And I think that
Yes.
the foods that our grandparents and great grandparents ate, although it might look very similar, is definitely different in its makeup now, because as you said, it's got the insecticide, pesticide, it's got the Roundup weed killer on it. These toxins that are on the food to improve the shelf life or to make it look beautiful is coming into our bodies and causing harm to our bodies now, and also well affecting the nutrient level in the food. So there's not as much nutrients in the food, even though it's the same size as it was, or even bigger than what it was 100 years ago. What you can do for your body is a lot less. And what can we do to kind of counteract that? You talked a little bit about growing your own.
Yeah, and also what I wanted to say is that the deficiency of the minerals that we're suffering with at the moment. And
Definitely.
deficiency of minerals are the precursor for a lot of the illnesses.
Yeah.
So, let's look at, I'm a great believer in solution. Know what the problem is, know the elephant in the room, and let's talk solution. So solution is get your nose dirty, get yourself an allotment. Get yourself an allotment or do some collaboration with somebody who's growing food at this present moment, at this epoch in time. Get into growing food, learn about growing food and the different types of food in the seasons. Learn to eat with the seasons again, which is critical. Also, a big thing is learn about fasting. Fasting is essential. 4 times a year, fast with the season. Some people like to fast a couple of times a week. Some people do intermittent fasting, juice fasting, dry fasting, all different types of fasting. Know that when you're going for an operation, they will ask you to fast. So they know this actually does work. That is you doing a nature's organic surgery within your own body. The less you eat, the more your body can get to work and fix you up from the inside out from all these different toxic food that are not are causing a lot of damage to our body. Next thing to do is actually get into raw food. I'm a great believer eating more raw food is so nourishing for your body, i.e. juicing. Try and juice regularly. I'm a great advocate of juicing. One of my favorite juice is my personal juice. Fennel, ginger, and carrots and apple. Yeah. Fennel, ginger, yeah. Okay. That's one of my favorite juice, especially for my digestive tract. But getting into juicing, I think Dr. Samuel talks about this, about juicing being a great way of getting lots of good minerals into your body. Yes. Next thing you can do is actually get in. Some people do dehydration with food, and that's worth looking into as well. Some people are getting into supplementation. I think that's a big thing as well. Supplement in your food, but not just any supplements.
Yeah.
Source your organic supplements. I've been known to join 1 or 2 companies who said they're organic, and at the back end, you'll find they have other ulterior motives going on, adding, other ingredients in, not so much, the real ingredients, got fillers and binders, bulking up their product, as opposed to just the mineral that they're trying to recommend. All right. So these are some things that I get people to get into ozone water. Ozonating your water is a very good thing to do now, because and also go and find spring water. There's people going around looking for spring water around, getting water out the ground. There's another program called Primary Water. If you look for primary water, I think primarywater.org, you can start looking at water that is organically coming out of the ground. So there's so much people can do. I live in a country where you've got a lot of fruits growing on the tree. And as well as avocado.
That slide was me being very, very jealous. Very, very jealous. Carry on. Tell me about the fruit.
We got figs growing on the tree, oranges and lemons, avocado. So, when you get it grown in nature, learn to forage as well. You'd be surprised. Now, I know that in England now, there's 1 or 2 groups over there actually going out into the wild, foraging, finding wild mushrooms and other beautiful foods out there, and different herbs, and how that works. So if we can go back to that way of thinking, that gives us more natural way of thinking, and it'll help our body tremendously.
Definitely. There is a report out that people are talking about, very recent report, where they're trying to say that now that a lot of people, the urban agriculture is actually causing a larger carbon footprint. And so it seems like this is, I'm just going to try and see if I can find on it. So they're trying, this is the Science Daily, and it was dated the 22nd of January this year. And they're saying food from urban agriculture has carbon footprint 6 times larger than conventional produced food. So this is a study showing as if they're trying to stop people from growing their own food in their garden allotments and small farms, and saying that big commercial farms are the only way. I mean, this is an experiment done in America. But what do you think is going on there?
Let me come back to that. All right, let's call that a whole load of hogwash and codswallop, and let's talk about the wars, all these nefarious wars that got all over the place. For what? If that's not causing the biggest carbon footprint, what is? Because it's certainly not this. I think that's trying to throw a red herring. That's all they're trying to do, is called a red herring, when you got wars here, and they're throwing all sorts of nuclear stuff going on around in those areas to some extent. So let's not muddy the water here and tarnish it with nonsense, because that is nonsensical. That is not even worth talking about, because really and truly, when it comes to carbon footprint, it's those acts which are causing the problem, and all the missiles and the rest of it. So for all I've got to say about food is that we need to get real deep food-ready comprehension of what's happening to our food, and what we need to do now to find vitality and good health. And that's understanding the genetic makeup of the food we're eating, knowing that they're being injected. Look what, if we go to supermarket now, I mean, this is years ago. I've not even gone to the food so much now, because I'm studying on another level of life. But what I remember studying is what they do with the apples. They put wax, they put things on the food to look so shiny, and then you're eating that wax and not knowing that's going inside of you. You got what they're pumping into all the meats, the hormones now, and the meats now making them bigger. You got the pasteurization when they're milking the cows now, that the blood is going into the milk, and then mix it up with that of a chemical. When you start to realize how they're really playing with the food, and it's all driven by profit margin, and that's all it is. It's nothing else. It's not about human health. It's all about who's getting paid, and that's
definitely.
And
maybe that's another factor why they're saying don't grow your own, only eat from us. That's another control kind of element. And I think what's happening as well, another control element, is which is affecting people in the UK, which will affect people in the UK, is the fact that the food prices are going up. Anything that's being exported from outside, so your beautiful figs and your lemons and your oranges that would have come into the UK now is going to be seen as a medium risk, and it's going to be more expensive. It's going to make it even harder for people to buy natural foods and be stuck, instead of having that whole food, be more inclined and cheaper to buy the GMO, the processed foods, and that's going to have another detrimental effect on their health. But it still feels like another way to control a person's food. You control the people. I have that feeling.
It's funny you should say that, Sergio. When we sit down and we've done our due diligence and study what they're doing to food over the years, it blows your mind. You say, you cannot be serious. You know, GMOs, MSG, and sodium nitrate, and what they do with the drink, aspartame, and say saccharin, and say what did, and it's like, whoa. And then they're telling us you can't grow. So hold up a minute. You want me to sit on my hand, at the same time take the prices up? That person's head's gonna spin off. So we just gotta step back, take a few steps back here and say, hold up. I think I need to show some discernment here, because these guys, as I said earlier, they don't play fair. They don't play fair. And if you're playing, I put it like this, Sophia, if you're playing a card game and you play this card game and you're constantly losing, what would you do? You say, oh man, I'm not winning here. You know, every time, let's say every month you go play this card game, and you say, I'm always losing. Then you find out that the reason that you're losing is because this person's cheating. Now you're going to have to just
change the rules. They're changing the rules. They're very clever. That's not necessarily cheating, but they are the creators of the rules, and they can change the rules whenever they want.
Bravo. So if you know that, then it's all right. You don't play fair, then you got to think different. That's all it's going to take. That's all it's going to take. What I call the tipping point. That was a tipping point when somebody said, "Oh, I'm changing the whole narrative."
Yes,
they work in silence and do what they need to do based on knowing what they know now. Because the guys don't play fair, and what they do, they back both sides. Remember, they back both sides. So, you know, some cases, because people are not thinking, they're in a hard rock and a hard place. You know, well, can I turn right? Can I turn left? Watch this. Okay, if I'm eating the food, the price is going up. If I'm trying to decipher food and realizing what GMO, MSG, and the rest of it, I turn over here, I can't grow food. You feel like you're hemmed in. So you really got to be laterally thinking and working with a group of people who understand, and then you can cultivate and you can build from the inside out, because that's what it's going to take. Intuitiveness, it's going to take ideas and initiative to turn this around. And also, if you really radically have to really move away, so be it.
Yes.
You know, sometimes it might take radical thinking. You know, I moved from the UK 12 years ago, and I'm so great. It's the best move I ever did, because now I never believed, maybe my next slide, I could see avocado orchard. I went, oh my God. I thought I'd won the lottery. I said, I'm in avocado heaven.
I love that. That's very, very true. We do need to. And I think there is that sense of maybe that sense of community. And you said getting with people that are like-minded and thinking that way. So maybe it's about removing the plants from your garden, the concrete slabs, and replacing it with food combination. You're growing potatoes, you're growing carrots, you're growing onions. Let's at least try it and work together as that kind of teamwork and exchange. Do you know what I mean? So that we are getting quality of food. And I think what I will remember watching this program, and it was looking at American diets. And it was showing that it was just so much cheaper to eat out than it was to buy food and prepare food. And I'm so concerned that whatever happens in America is to come over to the UK. And I can feel that the Just Eats, there's a lot more takeouts. I mean, takeouts used to be a rare thing. I know people that eat takeouts nearly every day now. And you're thinking you're getting that kind of mentality, not realizing that what comes with it is illness, obesity, and death. You know, so we definitely need to make that radical change. So thank you.
Actually, yeah, I just wanted to say also, greenhouses are good things as well. You know, that's another good solution as well. Yes, Sophia, thank you so much. I believe it's a topic we could spend hours going on. It's not just we've done our best to give a good insight, but it's a big topic. You know, it's really one that we just sit down and when you really start to map out how food was, how it is now, and where it's taken us, and we're going to step back and just show a huge amount of discernment and start taking our power back.
Definitely, definitely, and save organic seeds.
Yes,
organic seeds.
as much as you can, because you know, the more if food doesn't have seeding, as we both know, it's gonna, you know that food is hybrid.
Yes.
And food which are hybrid, once again, is going to cause catabolic breakdown in the human body. You know?
Yeah.
What we think is normal is abnormal these days.
True.
So do the abnormal thing and grow food.
Yes, very, very true. Even though we'd be surprised over the amount of foods which are selectively grown. If you look at the original pineapple, even the original avocado, tomatoes, carrots, peaches, all these foods, you wouldn't probably be as palatable. Watermelon, the original ones, as heirlooms ones. Bananas, even there's a whole range of food which has been selectively grown for a long time, but I think what's happening with the GMO is taking it to the next level. Next level.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about food that changes your DNA structure. Once you decompromise the human DNA structure, then you start having all these whole catalog of ailments, and this is why people do suffer with these ailments. And unbeknown to them, they're going to doctors for symptoms based on what they're putting in their mouth, and they don't even know that. That is the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
And you know, people get paid on people's lack of knowledge, especially on human health. You know, so
Definitely.
the more you educate yourself. Great website, educateyourself.org. That's a great website to go to. Educateyourself.org is a great website, as it explains enormity what humanity is going through, and we've got to just take our power back. That's the common denominator. Will say, take your power back, so you can actually start working from initiative, ideas, and be more creative.
Definitely. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been absolutely amazing as usual. So I'm looking forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thank you, Renat. Well, appreciate you. Thank you, Sophia.
Okay.
Namaste.
One day, I believe in the future. I believe in the past. I believe what you truly desire, you can bring to pass.